This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Friday, August 30th, 2024. I'm Alex Brown. Not-for-profits in Bartholomew and Jay counties have been selected by Columbus-based Civic Lab to participate in a 3-year incubator designed to improve quality of life in rural areas by focusing on education and workforce issues. Rusty Inman, executive director of the John Jay Center for Learning in Portland, said the selection is validation.
We wanted to find peers of our own and just never really found any. Well, we went to this meeting and found 10 peers that are all doing similar work, and it's been validating in a few different ways. And that's a great way right there, is that there's others doing the same work, seeing some of the same struggles, and how are we going to conquer this together?
The other not-for-profit from Indiana selected to join the program is the Community Education Coalition in Columbus. Arizona-based Aravan Energy has broken ground on a $250 million solar project in Gibson County. Known as Gibson Solar, the 251-megawatt solar farm is expected to generate enough energy to power the equivalent of more than 30,000 homes annually. Indianapolis-based smart mailbox startup Arrive AI is continuing to make moves as it plans to go public. The company, formerly known as Drone Deck, announced this week that it will transition to a new ticker symbol, ARAI, ahead of its direct listing on the NASDAQ stock market in the fourth quarter. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the Engage Indiana series, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. With an unrelenting focus on growing Indiana's economy, we'll dive into each region's unique challenges and distinct opportunities for growth. 9 regions, 1 goal. Indiana's bold future starts here. Discover more and register at ibj.com/engage.
The American Civil Liberties Union of Indiana has filed a federal lawsuit against Indiana University in a challenge to the school's newly implemented expressive activity policy. IIB's Marek Mazurek has details.
The federal lawsuit alleges the university's policy violates the First Amendment. ACLU of Indiana Legal Director Ken Falk said in a news release that IU's policy prohibits all expressive activity that takes place between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m., even if the activity is not disruptive. He said, quote, "The protections of the First Amendment do not end at 11 p.m. only to begin again at 6 a.m., end quote. The ACLU is representing 9 plaintiffs who have previously engaged in said expressive activity on the Bloomington campus between those hours. They are seeking declaratory and injunctive relief preventing the enforcement of that portion of the policy. The policy, approved last month, focuses on Dunn Meadow, which was recently used for a Gaza encampment by pro-Palestinian protesters. At the encampment, several faculty and student protesters were arrested, which led to criticism of the university's response. Dunn Meadow was designated as the Indiana University Assembly Ground in 1969 and has historically served as a place for students to engage in peaceful demonstrations. Just before the policy was approved, the law firm Cooley LLP released a report reviewing the response to the campus protests. The report detailed recommendations for how the university should handle expressive activity. Indiana University said it does not comment on ongoing litigation. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
The city of Indianapolis announced Thursday that construction will begin on the Henry Street Bridge over the White River next week. The bridge is part of a state-local partnership to develop a major business park on the west side of the river, an effort that has been complicated by the planned excavation of human remains from a historic cemetery on the east side. The $43 million bridge will connect the planned development, which includes the $200 million Elanco Animal Health headquarters, to the southeastern side of downtown Indianapolis. Terre Haute-based Garmong Construction is building the bridge under a build-operate-transfer agreement with the city, with expected completion in the fall of 2026. South Bend Mayor James Mueller is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.